This is James L. Pursley, licensed chemical dependency counselor, founder of Blackbread Enterprises, and the Paragon Salient Program. Again, any donations that you would like to give to this organization based on the development, so that way we could broadcast to a larger range of people, please send contact information to James P. at blackbread.net. Again, that's James P. at blackbread.net. Today's PSA is PSA 03, the Relapse Syndrome. The Relapse Syndrome. Okay, we're going over this to help us identify with the symptoms associated with relapse. For example, if I were to tell you symptoms of a person having soreness in the eyes, itchy throat, sneezing, headache, but a temperature, okay, you probably think that they have a cold. Now, let's say that I have another person whose symptoms are they have headache, runny eyes, itchy eyes, allergies, things of that nature. They're very similar, but at the same time, two totally and completely different things. It is important to understand and know about symptoms for one reason, because people, family and addict, alike, could excuse symptoms for something else. With most addictive behaviors, persons try to just stop the behavior. Okay, with most addictive behaviors, this usually doesn't work for long, because that's treating the symptom and not the illness. You see, you have to identify how you feel when you engage in the behavior to manage that emotion, so you can influence the behavior. When you can identify this pattern, you'll be more equipped to prevent a possible relapse. Before a full-blown relapse, there are some symptoms. The same way that you know that you're catching a cold, temperature going up, and things of that nature, it's the same difference. Before there is a full-blown relapse, there are some symptoms, and this is what the relapse syndrome is all about. We're going to go over it. The first stage is return of denial. Everybody has problems that need a sounding board to address them. When they think they have everything under control, or people who support their denial, or support the idea of them not processing the issues, or believe they don't need a meeting this week, or fill in the blank. When you're in a position to deny what you need to do to make you healthy, that is, of course, the denial. This happens from being progressive in recovery. Progressive, it means you're successful. But just because you're successful in being progressive does not mean that you're cured. It's all good, but grandiosity causes them to believe that everything's all well, and they neglect their needs. Next is avoidance and defensive behavior. They deny the potential for relapse, avoid constructive criticism by people, focus more energy on fixing others than working on themselves. Most times putting themselves in at-risk situations, and almost develops a resentment for relapse prevention exercises. Like anything in regards to treatment, they feel like they don't need to do that. Because, of course, they have a belief in a sense that they've licked it, that they beat it. After that, you have crisis building. Now, due to the denial and their avoidance problems that they have, situations begin to accumulate, and resolutions to issues become hard to see. They lack a constructive view, and they lose the ability to follow through with plans. And with that being the case, everything starts becoming a crisis, which then you have the next stage is immobilization. Now, the immobilization, after continuous crisis and the avoidance of dealing with these problems appropriately, a habit of not dealing with these problems sets in. A mind over matter issue. For example, if they don't mind, then it doesn't matter. Okay? In this moment is when people become trapped by excuses and problems. And they know within their heart of hearts what the deal is. And so what do you think comes next? Stage 5. That's confusion and overreaction. This usually is prompted by the emotion of anger and frustration. After constant situations of no resolution, and this becoming the way of life, that habit, persons begin to try to preserve self, and as a defense mechanism and a reaction to not constructively managing situations or emotions, they react excessively and with no rhyme or reason, to be perfectly honest with you. The feeling of being stuck or imprisoned creates tension in all aspects of their life, and they act out. Now, when no resolutions come about in most aspects of a person's life, it's only natural for a feeling of hopelessness to set in, which is stage 6.